Oh my God, you came back? You're listening once again to the O Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, CW. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure to hit that bell on YouTube and subscribe to the podcast in the same place. Everything's in the same place for your ease of use. Or if you like other podcasting apps, please go to those and subscribe to the show. I would appreciate all of it. Just a little bit of housekeeping up front. I always say we. I always act like I'm more than one person. Like this is more than a one-man operation. It's not. It's just a guy. It's just a dad talking into a microphone. I have read the comments. I appreciate everyone who leaves comments. I appreciate you listening. I hope you enjoy the podcast. I hope you enjoy agreeing with me. I hope you enjoy disagreeing with me. Here's looking at you, Dex. I don't mind. You know, I'm not here to make anyone upset. But I'm also just a guy. I'm not a wrestling historian. I'm just a fan who wanted to talk about wrestling with you guys. So I appreciate every comment. I appreciate every thumbs up. I appreciate every downvote. It's all good to me. I haven't been jaded yet from the YouTube comments, and I haven't been jaded yet from podcasting comments. So for the time being, I will read all of them. I will respond to all that I can, which is all of them. And yeah, thank you guys for listening. I do appreciate your time, bending your ear for 10 minutes twice a week. Let me know if you want more. No, I can't do more. I don't have nearly enough topics. But if there are topics you'd like me to cover, if you want to throw out old wrestling stuff that you want me to take a look at and comment on and have, we can have a back and forth, let me know in the comments. Drop it. I'll be sure to take a look. There was a great conversation on the Stale Gimmicks episode about my Triple H comment, and someone graciously left a comment about his lineage from Terra Rising all the way down to Triple H, and I appreciate that. You learn something every day. I don't remember what I said about Triple H, and I haven't gone back because I can't listen to my own voice in these podcasts, but I'm going to assume I said something silly about Triple H. I don't know. But thanks everyone for clarifying, and we'll move on to some new stuff that you can potentially hang my my knowledge on. It's like he doesn't know that either. Trust me, I don't know a lot. But today, the question is for all of you: what is your favorite championship run? Who held the title best for you? What storylines really worked revolving around the World Heavyweight title or the Universal title or whatever belt? And the reason I'm bringing this up is because there's a lot of talk now that CM Punk is back and kind of going to go into a work with Seth Rollins. So there's the whole world title conversation between those two. And then there's Cody, right? Cody's got to finish his story to get back to Roman so he can take that title. And that's kind of where everyone's mind is, right? And I'm still unclear as to how Cody fits into Roman and how their stories interact. Because again, last year, he really did get shoehorned into that Roman angle, in my opinion. It didn't help that Roman was part-timing. So he had to build this story with Paul Heyman, which was effective a few times. They had some really great promos together. But I didn't feel that they had enough of a story for a WrestleMania main event outside of him winning the Royal Rumble, which is normally enough. But Cody made it into this really big thing about finishing his story and I don't know, whatever. At the end of the day, it was a fantastic match at WrestleMania, and I enjoy it. I wasn't one of the people who was crazy angry that Cody didn't win, but I was surprised that he didn't win. The way they were building it up, you really thought he was going to. This year, I don't know if he's going to do it, I've heard people say that Roman's going to go over again and just kind of hold on to the title a little bit longer. I don't know if that's the best idea, and this brings me to the question. Roman has done something that I think we could all agree, which is put that title on a pedestal. Let me say, the storyline of the Bloodline and Roman has elevated that title a bit. It is a very coveted prize now that there is a lot of time and energy put into Roman being the guy you have to defeat to get it. Regardless if you've liked those matches or not, you can't deny that him holding the title for over 3 years and kind of putting away quite a bit of high caliber talent to retain has made him the final boss, right? And once the final boss is defeated, it's usually game over, right? But in wrestling never ends. So things have to keep going. So if Cody wins, I was sitting here thinking, well, what is the next story for the Universal title? Right? What comes next? If Roman gives up this 3.5 year title run, how long is Cody's run? How long do we invest in Cody being champ? And what is the story behind that title reign, right? It's not going to be the Roman-sized reign. Yeah, that wasn't unplanned. But I'm sure it'll be good, but will it be as good? And I'm not a WWE writer, so I don't know what story they'd have planned for, a babyface champion at this point, but I can look back to last WrestleMania where Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens defeated the Usos for the tag titles, and at the time the tag titles were the number 2 titles in the company because they were attached to the Usos. They had a legacy behind it. They had, the longest reigning tag champs holding the belts. They were attached to Bloodline, Angle, and Roman. It was a whole big thing, and Sami and Kevin going over and taking the titles was a huge moment at WrestleMania. But that's the curtain call for a movie, right? That's the end of Rocky. That's the end of the show. They win the titles. They overcome the evil tag team. They stand holding the titles, fade to black, credits roll, right? When they came back on Raw, I believe they immediately had a match with the Street Profits and beat them or something like that. I don't remember exactly. But their title reign was not enjoyable at all to me. I didn't find it all that interesting. They didn't mesh well in terms of the Usos are a tag team, right? They're twins. You can't really, they have that chemistry. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens have a history, sure, but they don't have the tag teaminess that I wanted from the tag champs. I don't know what it was. There was something lacking, and I think for me, I knew exactly what was lacking. I love them both as singles wrestlers, and I know them both as incredible singles wrestlers. So them holding the tag titles felt wrong. They didn't feel like they should be holding that. The Usos felt right. They were a tag team. They started as a tag team, and they worked their way up to the top, and then they defeated everybody, and they were, the longest reigning. That's great. But once Kevin and Sami dropped those titles to Judgment Day, I was like, oh, finally. And even the Judgment Day, I feel like they're holding it for someone else too, right? Creed brothers make sense as tag champs, because they're a tag team. They feel like a tag team. The Judgment Day is by design, multiple different personalities not meshing as well as you'd like. I think that's their story, right? Anyway, that's a long way to say, what title reigns have worked for you? I think Roman Reigns' title reign, despite it being super long and people feeling it's kind of to run its course, I feel like it's worked. But of course, I will say one of the greatest title reigns is Stone Cold's reign. Why? Because Stone Cold, like Roman Reigns, felt like a final boss, but in a good way. He was the anti-bad guy, good guy. He was right in the middle, but you felt like this guy's the final boss for whoever's going up, and they're going to lose. They're going to get stunned, and it's over. So no matter how long he held the belt, it just felt right. Let me know in the comments what your favorite championship title reign was. Thank you so much for listening once again. I appreciate you for real, and don't you ever forget.
I'm your friend, but if I ever see you in the ring, I can beat you. Don't you know? Yeah, yeah, yeah.